Here's an idea for a D&D character who your party will absolutely fall in love with. When it comes to D&D, I'm usually on the other side of the screen. I prefer to be the DM, so I don't usually get the chance to make a lot of player characters. But one time for a Curse of Strahd campaign that I ran, I had to fill out a 4th member of the party with a DMPC. This DMPC has become one of the best characters I've ever created. Now, this character's name is Rook, and Rook was a Kenku bard. He was relatively young. Kenku's mature pretty young, and he became an adventurer after he got kicked out of bard school. As you might be aware, Kenku are physically incapable of being creative. It is written into their story. They were created to be the perfect minions, and so they're excellent at mimicry, but they lack creativity. They don't have that spark. It's physically impossible for them to come up with new things. So all Rook could do as a Kenku bard was basically copy other people. He couldn't create music of his own, so he copied everything that the other students did. This worked for a little bit while he was in school because, yeah, you start off learning by copying other people. But when it came time to actually move up in class rankings by completing school projects, coming up with original works of art, original plays, original musics, original stories, he couldn't do it. He was incapable. And so he reached this kind of ceiling where he couldn't progress anymore, and he had to drop out of school. During the time that he was in school, he was bullied a lot. This poor kid was a victim, right? The other aspiring artists continually made fun of him because he couldn't come up with his own stuff, and they resented him for the fact that he just copied their things. And so poor Rook went through school essentially being bullied, you know? He was called bird brain, he was called uncreative, unimaginative, the world's worst bard, and so he left school. There was nothing left for him there because he had done everything he could within his capabilities, right? So he decided to travel down south to the next major city over, and he eventually joined up with the Hall of Heroes, which is what I call the Adventurers Guild in the continent that we happen to be working with at the time. He no longer wanted to stick around the bard school and learn to create his own music, his own lore, his own stories, when he could just go out adventuring and do what he does best, you know? He decided he would go out to other civilizations and learn about whatever music and instruments that they had there and then bring it back to his hometown. He would go into ruins and find bits of long lost history and long lost lore, untold stories, and bring them back to the surface world. And his plan was to become the world's greatest bard in the sense that he would be a repository, a walking library of knowledge gathered from all over the world. Now, Rook wasn't super talkative. You know, as a Kenku, he's a little bit limited in that sense. But when it came to his spell casting, right, if he cast spells like Dissonant Whispers, Vicious Mockery, any sort of spell that would psychologically hurt the other person via noise or words, the noise and the words sounded a lot like the insults that he heard when he was going to school. And so any bystander, any victim would just hear insults ringing from all directions, and that's what caused the psychological pain. Beyond that, he was just a whimsical little fella. He was along for the ride. He was here to help out other adventurers and pick up whatever knowledge he could along the way. And my Curse of Strahd party fucking loved him. They took one look at this little bird guy who just wanted to play his music and follow along, and they were like, I'm gonna protect this bird with my fucking life. So yeah, that was Rook, my favorite DMPC that I've ever created. If you toss him into your campaigns, please let me know because I would love to see him live on.